Welcome into the Ringerverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are. What the hell was that sound?
He's old.
It's
man.
old, nigga. I'm stretching, nigga. Damn.
Man.
Knees
They didn't
clicking
stretch out
like
this
they're
morning.
glow
You gotta start
sticks.
stretching in the morning.
I don't stretch after workouts.
You gotta stretch after work.
You don't
have
stretch
to.
after workouts?
We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. We are Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. We are Old Man Van, he of the receding research and hairline. We are Coke Baby Chuck, 24-karat clothes. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Follow us on socials, Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Guys, I just want to thank everybody who's out there liking, following, and most especially commenting on all our stuff. It's crazy. People are really engaging with our content, and it's only going to be more with this summer, right? Starting next week, fellas. We're on a hot streak. Ironheart, Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four. We're here. This is it. You guys don't seem as excited as I am.
I'm excited.
You guys.
I'm super excited. It's a big summer. Look, it's a big summer. It's a high leverage summer, but I think I'm like the rest of the people and the industry where there's excitement, there's a little fear.
There's a little nerves.
Yeah.
There's some
Nerves in the city. The vibes in the city are crazy.
There's some nerves. There's little nerves that they need these movies to come through and hit. And after the reception of Thunderbolts, some people are wondering what's going to happen. So I'm very excited, but this is a big summer for Hollywood. It is.
It is.
I mean, where are your chips? Because I think I'm putting my chips on Superman just in terms of like success. Superman might do more than Fantastic Four.
Oh, it is definitely going to do more.
Probably.
The tracking is out of this world for Superman. I think Superman has, well, the character's much bigger, but at the same time, much bigger. It's the biggest comic book character ever. I also think that Superman has the one thing going for it that Fantastic Four doesn't, is Superman has not only the interest in the character, but the divisiveness that's needed to fuel something on social media. The Fantastic Four has a lot of intrigue, maybe more intrigue than Superman. It's a new iteration of the team, the story, like how they're going to do it, Franklin Richards, all of that stuff. People are wondering what's going to happen. You know what I mean? How it's going to happen. But for Superman, it has that Floyd Mayweather love-hate thing going on, where there's some people that are going and hoping that the movie is tremendously successful. And then there are other people that are going to be able to have something to make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's pitching the audience on something new, where Fantastic Four is pitching them on a return to four, which I'm like, it's always going to be easier to pitch somebody like, this is the hot new shit, like, get on, whether you hate it or love it, versus we're trying to course correct. So.
Interesting. I view that, I'd be interested to know what you guys think. We're going to get into the show, which is kind of litigating all of this stuff. I think those things are kind of a little, maybe the same.
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, in terms of Marvel, it is a course correction for Fantastic Four. You're definitely right about that. But don't you think the movies almost have to do the same thing, which is take these characters and say, oh, the past iterations of them sucked. We're reinventing them and giving them to new people, and you're going to love what we do. If you liked, you're going to love our Superman. You're going to love our Fantastic Four. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I think James Gunn is like almost opening up a new restaurant where it's just like, this is actually, to me, the first official thing. I know we've had other where we're like, this is where we're going, which is like, to me, the intrigue is super, just like, I'm like interested whether like it soars or flops. Whereas Fantastic Four doesn't feel like a new restaurant. It almost feels like, all right, under new management, we're reopening business. Like, we fixed all the recipes. We know we was skimping on the ingredients.
Are you saying Creature Commandos was a soft opening?
It was a soft open. They was just
Peacemaker, too.
Peacemaker soft open, but this is the real, like, Carmi opened the shop. Like, the reviews are coming.
Interesting.
Got Coca-Cola braised beef ribs in there.
If you're watching this right now, which you should be, we're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of R episode on youtube.com/@Ringerverse and also on Spotify. Programming reminders, tomorrow the House of R will be giving you the top 10 speeches of the century so far. Interesting.
Speeches?
Yeah.
Speeches.
Speeches of the century. So Lathan wins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's there. He's got to be.
Is Obama?
What do you mean? So, these are speeches in fandom,
So
right?
like election night Obama?
You know?
Yeah, we are the people we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. That was a fucking speech. I mean, like, God damn, that nigga.
What's been the best or worst award show speech?
Oh, Adrian Brody.
That's the first thing I thought.
That gotta be up there.
That was
that
pretty
gotta
bad.
be up there.
Yeah.
In terms of fandom speeches, obviously, I think Lathan's is probably number one. But like, I'm trying to think. Do you give like Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War?
Yeah,
that's a pretty good speech. But you also have the one at the end of Endgame where he's like,
"Couldn't live with your failure.
Couldn't live with your failure. Where did that bring you back to me?" Like,
Bane is number one to me.
Bane
beating the shit out of
Bane. I don't know. Does Joker have a speech? I mean, I'm
Not
sure
really a speech.
No. The Scars one where he walks into the
Walks the
right.
story.
Yeah.
Joker's more like a lines guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But the Bane speech was transformative because you just felt so bad for Batman.
It sucked out there.
Like I'm watching my fucking guy get fucked over. That was like watching Kobe shoot the free throw with the one Achilles.
Yeah.
You're like, my nigga is cooked.
Victory has defeated
And
you.
it was worse too
man.
because not Anne Hathaway watching my man get the shit slapped out of him. I was like, not in front of
That's
the
how you know
baggage.
she a true freak though.
All right.
Because she was into that. That's when she.
I don't like
she
that.
was a little.
After that, she was in. After that, she didn't have to watch that.
Yeah.
She didn't have to watch that.
She got the whips and the crop.
I mean, she got the
all
whips.
that
And hold on. First of all, let's not. It's a very sexualized character. I think she got turned on watching Batman get the shit kicked out of him because she's sitting there and she didn't have to look at it. She watched the whole thing like, oh, daddy. And so she's watching the whole thing, and then they get together after that. As a matter of fact, when you see when Alfred sees them and they're hanging out,
It's a little cuck situation.
That
He's
night-
like looking at them like,
he's probably like she's
Like, I
probably
see.
Bane. She probably dresses up like Bane, breaks his back. I know somebody getting their back, bro. You know, brace his back the whole nine.
Jesus
she liked that shit.
Christ.
She was looking. Why did she stay there and watch the whole shit?
Because it's
She
the
did not
most
need to
insane.
stay.
Because he's like, oh snap, that's Bruce Wayne. He's been Batman this whole time. Oh my God, Bane is putting the beats on this guy. Oh my goodness.
After the first couple of shots, you know how it's gonna go. We had to watch. We paid, right? We paid, so we had to watch. She didn't have to stand there. Number one, she could have got.
but in the real world,
wait,
your
wait,
girl's
wait,
not
wait.
staying after that. Like, if
Wait,
I get my ass handed to me by Bane and my like girl watching it, she's not like, oh, I'm turned on. She's like, damn.
Didn't she have to stay because they promised her something?
They'd
Was it
already
the clean
given it to
slate?
her.
They didn't give her the clean slate.
She
She did that, so she led Batman to the thing so she could get that.
she led Batman to the thing so she could get it. Is she gonna stay there? What I'm saying is she might have had to been in the area, but she didn't have to stay there and watch the fight.
She could have turned around.
Look, my thing is this. I think she liked it. And she when she looked at him, it's like when the thing closed, she kind of gave him a little look like, what you got? Can you beat this motherfucker? And the answer is no. So Bane, Lathan, a couple other people. Who else?
Trying to think. Green Goblin? I know he might be a Lions guy too, though. I don't know if there's a memorable Green Goblin speech.
It's not as many speeches as you think.
people in the city.
Yeah.
It's not as many speeches as you think. I'm interested to see this show. This is gonna be a good show.
Yeah.
It's not as many speeches as you think because a lot of these, I feel like Captain America has one somewhere.
I don't think Captain America has.
No, he's got good bars.
He's got good bars. I mean,
It's too quippy. Everybody's real quip. Oh,
the
you know
speech
when
in-
Killmonger wasn't saying shit
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
in the museum.
I feel like Cap has the one at the end of Winter Soldier when he's talking to all of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's a pretty solid one. I will say this, though.
Oh, that is a good one. That's a great one right there.
I know Mal and Joe, you're listening, you're watching, you're big fans. If Optimus Prime is not on your list, you gotta come see me.
We are looking to the stars.
Come on, come on. You can pick. I think you can pick anything at the end of Transformers 1, Transformers 2. When he looks at Megatron in the eyes, and Megatron's like, "What would you do without me, Prime?" He's like, "Time to find out." Come on, man.
Who writes Optimus Prime speeches?
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
No, I'm being like, is it Bumblebee or some shit? Like,
I think he's in the lab, right? Because I think he also has like the thing about Optimus Prime. He's got like undiagnosed anger issues. Like he has problems, right? And the only way he can do that is by fighting. And the only way he can keep himself calm when he's not fighting is to just write and to just dialogue and like, just like, oh yeah, this would just go fire in a fight or something like that. So that's how he be handling business.
I wish one of the Autobots would be like, shut the fuck up.
And
In the middle
You're
of
gonna
the
tell
rap.
Optimus
Hey,
Prime
shut
to
the
show
fuck
up.
up.
Optimus Prime was out there fighting 7 Decepticons by himself and beating their ass. That's the boy you want to mess with? I don't
How
know.
about Optimus Prime just don't get fucked over and be out of the movie for like 45 minutes to an hour?
Okay,
and then
but
have to come
I know
back at
exactly
the
what you're
end
He
talking
and
gets
save the
fucked
day.
up, and then all the Autobots get fucking just trash.
Because it's literally 07 Braun out there every single movie. He's trying to do it the whole thing by himself. You find 8 Decepticons by yourself, and you are beating their ass, but at some point, one's going to come behind you and stab you in the back.
the Autobots literally have one other good player.
That's it.
And
That's
that's
it.
it.
And Bumblebee can't even talk.
Did they ever put Hot Rod in these movies? Did he ever,
I don't think so. I don't
They
think
just
so.
don't fucking fuck.
No, because wait, actually they have 3. Jazz.
Jazz got
Jazz
ripped in
got it.
half at the
I'm
beginning
talking
of the fight
historically,
scene.
Jazz got busy. Not in the fucking Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they suck. On today's show, we have some nerd news and our first mailbag in a very long time. Even in the intro to this podcast, there are a lot of questions that we were asking and answering. And I feel like the fandom, the mob, the writers, they have a lot of questions that they want to ask us. Jomi has collated these questions, put them together, mailbag form, voicemail form. And now we will be answering these questions. You guys run your podcast. How are we going to do this, Chuck?
Yo,
Start with nerd news.
nerd news. Well, I think this kind of dives into a lot of the questions we got surrounding Superman. James Gunn did an interview with Rolling Stone conducted by one of my former colleagues, Brian Hyatt. Talks about the status of Superman, DCU. He says some spicy things about what he called Matt Reeves slow.
Okay, he didn't call him slow.
Well, he did.
His process
he said
is slow.
What he was probably saying is that Matt Reeves works slow. He writes slow. His process
his process
is
is
slow.
slow.
What he said was verbatim.
Matt
is
slow.
Which is insane.
It's just crazy.
They definitely got a little smoke.
Fellas, people are like, man, this movie, can't wait for it to come out 5 years after it released. I don't see it, man. I gotta be honest with you. I don't see it. The movie made $773 million, right? It's one of the most popular comic movies that's come out in like the last 5 years.
That shit almost made $1 billion.
It
Right?
almost made $1 billion. Like, it's legitimately one of the most popular things we've seen in a minute. You fast track that sequel. That sequel gets made within 2 to 3 years max. And it might come out in 5 years. It might not. Who cares? Who knows? I don't really see. And let's not even talk about like the Batman of the James Gunn's DCU trying to set that up. I don't really see where they're like, yeah, we'll just have 2 Batman coexisting in the same world while this one is doing his thing and this one's doing another thing.
I mean, because
But they're
James
2
Gunn was
separate
saying
things.
he doesn't want to do a campy, more fun Batman. He's working with a writer to get that movie on track, not the Batman,
Right.
the DCU Batman.
Right.
Also working on Wonder Woman. And then he was also honest that he thought that Marvel kind of shot themselves in the foot, or at least the top brass of Disney, by forcing them to flood the zone with so much Disney Plus content. So my question for you, Van, before we get into Midnight Mailbag, is this what you want to see from James Gunn? Because it seems like he's kind of puffing out his chest. He is turning into the Feige more and more of DC in terms of he's almost, to me, more front-facing than Feige is. He's at a lot of these interviews. He's promoting the movie. Too much dip on his chip, or is this exactly what you want to see from the architect of DC before his movie comes out?
Well, there are 2 things. One, he is the only known quantity that exists in the DCU right now.
Yeah.
So beyond Creature Commandos, there's no product to look at. I mean, you have his past movies, you have Peacemaker, but as far as going into the promotion of the film, you have a crop of new stars and you have James Gunn. So right now, if I were doing an interview to promote Superman, if they were to give me anyone that I wanted, any person that I wanted for here on the Midnight Boys, I wouldn't choose Corn Sweat, wouldn't choose Brosnan, I would choose James Gunn because he's the most important part of that film right now. So the reason why what he's saying feels like it's more important is because it is more important. Like if this were a situation where, Brad Pitt was playing Superman, you'd want to talk to Brad Pitt. Obviously, that would be a terrible Superman. But if you would want to, you would want to talk to Brad Pitt. But that's not what's happening. And typically with Superman, you're never going to get somebody that's able to outshine the character anyway.
Yeah.
So much of the curiosity around it is going to be in how we're going to make this guy fly, how we're going to make this guy fight, how we're going to bring this character back to the center of American culture and consciousness. So you're going to have all that stuff. Secondly, he's doing something in these interviews, in my opinion, which is creating value for his process. The Marvel process, despite what anyone has said recently, was very successful.
Yeah.
And it all came from one guy. And because of Disney Plus, we saw the limit of that process. We saw the limit of having everything come out of Feige's brain. So when he's saying, look, we're trying to realign how we make these movies from this model where we don't need finished scripts because somebody has a finished vision in their head and they can articulate that vision to a bunch of different people, a bunch of different productions simultaneously and all get them to the same place. He's saying that's no longer tenable. Can't do it like that. And he's also saying that's not how we're going to do it. So if you are talent, if you are audience, if you are a cultural critic, don't expect us to go start a movie with no script. So if you're wondering why we don't have the Batman ready, it's because we're not going to start shooting for a month or 6 weeks when we don't have a finished script. And our writer doesn't write microwaved screenplays. He's an auteur. So the way that he does that is to have a full screenplay, a full vision, and then write it. Those types of guys haven't really worked in comic book fare before in the big universes. Nolan, maybe. He was able to get us, 3 Batman movies 3 years apart, each movie?
Yeah,
3,
relatively.
4?
I think there was 2 years.
It was 2005, 2008, and 2012.
2005, 2008, 2012. Okay, and between 8 and 12, he was able to give you Inception. So,
But I think what's interesting to me is James Gunn is almost breaking from the Feige mold, where to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, for years, to this day, to me, Feige is very, removed. He's not online. He's not on Twitter or Spaces. He's not answering fan questions. He's not really talking about the state of the superhero movie and scripts and process. And for me, I like that James Gunn is kind of being like, hey, yo, no, I'm going to be honest. If somebody asks me a question about the state of superhero movies or the product being stepped on, I'm not going to, it's part of my job to kind of talk about this. He's almost an ambassador where it's Feige from a position of strength for so many years. He didn't, he toed the company line. Even when they release a bad movie, you never really heard Feige talking about it that much. It was always kind of I'm going to be out here. I'm going to show you the slate, what we're working on. And it seems James Gunn is, and I could see the benefits of that. And long term, I could be like, damn, this works for you, the new person. The first time we get 2 or 3 bad movies in a row, can you be that honest with the audience?
Well, none of that stuff was necessary for Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Number one, he was creating proof of concept for the existence of a Kevin Feige. There had never been a Kevin Feige before Kevin Feige. So there was no other way to do it. What he did was he spoke about the films always in anticipation and excitement. Hey guys, you're going to be so super fucking stoked to see the Inhumans, right? No matter what it was, he spoke with anticipation and excitement. And the movies were good for the most part, but there were some bad ones, but it didn't even matter. Thor: The Dark World, bad. Doesn't matter. Boom, Avengers Age of Ultron is coming out. All of these different films or whatever followed The Dark World, we have these big, huge things that are coming up. And even when they show you, oh my God, we're doing Civil War. Oh my God, we're doing the Infinity War. Thanos, he was able to sell excitement and he didn't really have to litigate in any real way the state of the superhero movie or blockbuster culture. Those are not even questions he was asked. James Gunn is going to get asked all of those questions because he's living in a post-Feige, post-Marvel golden era space. So the questions that he's going to have to ask is not how excited people are for Superman, but why are you even making this movie?
Yeah.
People don't even want this shit anymore. Like, how are you going to make this different than the types of films that we've gotten over the past 2, 3,
He
or
has to
4 years?
regain trust when Feige wasn't having to regain anything, to your point. He's building something, the foundation of it. So all those years, it was just like, oh yeah, Feige could just like walk out at Comic-Con and be like, this is what we're doing. And we're all like, yeah. And now even with like James Gunn, I'm like, they're slowly taking shit off the plate. Like there's like slow, like there's certain movies where it's like, this is getting pushed.
They killed a project. He announced in the thing that they killed a project.
Which one do you think they killed?
So I'm looking at the list right now. Obviously, Wonder Woman and Brave and the Bold are probably safe, but you have Bane and Deathstroke, Sergeant Rock, The Authority.
It's almost certainly The Authority.
Probably The Authority.
Like, I think.
I think it's The Authority.
I think it could be Sergeant
It's not
Rock.
Green Lanterns, obviously. That's
It
almost
could be Sergeant Rock because
Waller?
they do have a character from The Authority in Superman.
That's fair.
So that one might be going, but I almost certainly thought it was The Authority.
I
Even
think
though
it's
that would
probably
be the
Waller.
coolest. That would be the coolest fucking movie if they made it. That would be the coolest movie if they made it. If
The
they made,
Authority?
it would
I
be
don't
such a
know.
fucking awesome movie if they made it. They're
Just
such cool
the boys
characters.
in the theater.
Wait, so The Authority, and then we got to get to questions. You know what would scare me about The Authority, though? If I'm at DC and I look at Thunderbolts, which is a movie that I'm just like, we all enjoyed, and I think is like a good Marvel movie, I'm like, damn, they could barely sell that, and they named that shit the New Avengers. Are people really gonna be like, damn, The Authority is what especially in a post-boys world, they probably really worry.
Well, the only thing, look, I can't tell you about whether or not people would go see the movie. I can tell you that the fact that the characters are so cool and they're so, off kilter that the movie would be cool. Thunderbolts was a cool movie. If people don't want them to go see the movies anymore, they don't have to. You know what's interesting though? When I was looking at the lowest grossing Marvel movies ever, you know what movie is up there? The first Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously, if you adjust for inflation, it's probably more successful than the Thunderbolts was, or the New Avengers, or whatever the fuck the name of the movie is. But the fact that that movie was not a huge success didn't even matter at that time.
No.
Because the movie was important for the formation of the character. So there is a part of this. I'm not in any way taken away from the struggles that Marvel has had recently. Not at all. But there is a part of this that's oriented around expectation. Because if you go back and you look at them, they did have some bumps. They did have some misses. Inhumans was a disaster.
We don't give the heroes enough time to become heroes anymore. Like I don't think there's ever going to be another character like Chris Evans who we get to in real time find Captain America.
Like watch him grow into it.
Like watch him, like even like I don't even think he has a full grasp on it in the first Avengers. Like he's good in it. You're just like, oh, I see it. And then finally you get to like Winter Soldier and you're like, oh, like he's set. Same thing with fucking Thor. How many fucking Thor movies did we see?
Do
Oh.
we feel like that we're never going to really get a full-throated like origin story for superhero films ever again?
Not from characters that we really know.
No,
Yeah.
like X-Men
Not
is,
for-
to me, not going to be an origin film. Like
Yeah.
they probably are just like, you can't do one.
Yeah, not from characters that we
Yeah.
really know. If we really know the characters at this point, I don't think the audience has the stomach to watch like Batman's parents get killed again.
I mean, Superman is what? He's been Superman for 3 years. I think James Gunn said at this point. So they're like,
Yeah.
but what's our first question from the mailbag?
So we got a lot of questions from a lot of people. We're like, what do you it's a big summer ahead of us. What do you guys want to ask about the summer content? We got a whole bunch of Superman questions, a couple Ironheart questions, some Jurassic World questions, and then some like miscellaneous stuff.
Mhm.
So we're already talking Superman. So let's dive into Superman. I think G's got one. I think
right.
that's
Yeah,
a
start
good
with
way
it.
to start there.
All right, what's up, guys? My name's G. I got a question / take. I don't know why in 2025 Superman is still highly regarded. Like, it just feels like he's from an era where like Americans wanted perfection and like that exceptionalist era where like people had no flaws, like faster than a speeding bullet, stronger than a locomotive, jumping over buildings, You know what I mean? Great looking, in shape, nice to women. Like, he checks all the boxes. We don't need that in 2025. What's your take? What do you think?
Wait, nice to women, we don't need it.
We definitely need that
Gee,
always.
We need
But
that. We for sure
I
need
get
that.
what he's saying, but honestly, if we loop it back to what we were saying about Captain America, I think people were saying the same exact thing about Captain America movie and that character at that time, where it was just like he runs around with a flag on his chest. He's called Captain America. He's this Boy Scout. Who's gonna give a fuck about him? He's outdated. And I do think that, like, actually don't think that question, like, he's wrong in terms of just like the reason people have a lot of trouble with Superman and adapting him, especially to film, is like, yes, he brings up a lot of things that are hokey and maybe we're past or we're just too jaded about. But I do think that there is something about the movies and comic books where I'm just like, you can still tell a compelling Superman story. You can still, like, yeah, it's a little hokey, but I'm like, all this shit is like, Captain America Winter Soldier is a perfect example of how you can take a character that we envisioned as a Boy Scout and that started with Ed Brubaker in the comics and Steve Epting and really be like, all right, what does this character mean to America now? We have to do that. They do that with James Bond in England. Like, it's like we always have this. So sometimes I get what the question is saying, but I think James Gunn is smart enough to realize, like, hey, we do this every fucking couple decades. We have to figure out who Superman is in the 2020s.
Mm.
That was your favorite. That was your first superhero that you fell in love with.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a conversation with somebody at CNN, and they said to me,
brag about
it. They said, if Superman existed for real, he wouldn't be Superman, he would be Homelander. And it's always interesting to me when people say that, because the cynicism surrounding someone that has that much power sometimes is devoid from the context of the character. So Homelander was raised in a lab and was tortured his entire childhood. His entire childhood, he was tortured. He was tortured and taught that he was the most powerful being in the entire world and that everybody should be under his thumb. And he was never really loved or nurtured or cared for in any way. Therefore, human beings are meat sacks to him and, like, not actual people. Superman is totally different. The character matters. The character is somebody that was a godsend to his parents. The first miracle that happens is that a woman who cannot have children, after she's been trying to have children, is blessed with a baby from the stars. So she loves it, and her and her husband love it like it is the blessing that it is for them. Superman, the first people that Superman saved are the Kents. And so then they notice, oh my God, the kid can fucking pick up a truck. How do we do this? We love him more. We show him more what that the entire world is an anthill, and he has to be gentle. He has to be patient. And every question that he has, we answer it for him. The question about Superman is not whether or not the character can exist like the character is anymore. It's whether or not we do that anymore, whether or not we're patient, whether or not we're nuanced, whether or not we invest into people. Because there used to be a time where you could believe that. But now, every time somebody does something wrong, we say that's who they really are. Every time somebody has a take we don't like, we cut their legs off. Everything is a fight. Everything is, we're like Homelanders. Like we're the people that are trying to dominate and destroy and like hurt everything around us that we don't agree with or that we can't live with. And so the reason why we can't see Superman as a character anymore is because we don't see it in ourselves. Me personally, I know plenty of guys, plenty of people that I would be like, yo, if I could touch him with something and make him like, or her, this amazing, all-powerful being, that I would do it to. Like plenty of people, plenty of mentors and people that I have in my life that are already Supermen. So, the cynicism that exists that surrounds Superman is not in the character anymore. It's not in, we can't believe that a guy would exist. Is that we don't really see it in ourselves. And maybe even when we saw it before, it wasn't true. But that's why Superman is an idea. He's what if like there was something that was that powerful that all they wanted to be was a human being.
I think the thing that, with Injustice and with The Boys and with Omni-Man, like the whole thing has kind of diluted the waters a little bit. The thing that makes Kal-El Clark Superman special isn't the flight, it's not the laser eyes, it's not the super strength, it's his compassion and his kindness and his willingness to be there for people no matter what.
Just a good dude.
Just a good dude.
He's a guy from Kansas.
That's what makes him him. And to your point, we've kind of lost that in society these days. So you kind of look at Superman, you go,
the better somebody is, the more we start asking, what the fuck is wrong with that?
What are you hiding?
Yeah.
Well, can also in terms of just like as a movie going public, this is what I want to see more from movies where I'm like, can we have the ability to go to a movie, especially a fictional one, and see Superman or see Luke Skywalker, and the first thing we do is not like the internet pilled thing where it's just like, this isn't realistic. Where I'm like, I don't fucking watch A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back and be like, Luke is too great of a person.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, it's something to aspire to. It's a story where I'm like, we've got so many Homelander and Omni-Man and these type of like evil Superman, evil Batman stories where I'm like, sometimes I do think it's okay for us to just like sit down, see something to aspire to on the screen, and then not do the thing where it's like, well, that wouldn't happen in the real world. I'm like, that's not the fucking point.
Aliens are coming from the sky. People are flying.
I'll tell you what's not realistic. What's not realistic is that Luke would learn that Han was dead.
All right, so we got a new question.
Scene.
We talked about this a little bit.
One fucking scene
from Cameron.
Nah, whatever, you talk over me, whatever. Like, not even take one fucking scene of remembering Han or thinking about Han. Or
why would you do this?
Crying for Han or having one fucking scene where he cares that Han is dead. After legitimately putting the fate of the entire galaxy in peril and jeopardy to go save Han, Han gets killed by his fucking son.
God.
That
it's
Luke,
a good movie.
That's not realistic to me. That's the only thing that I find
You're part of the
unrealistic.
problem, Van. Next question.
The cynicism of the internet.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit, but Cameron's got a question about Superman.
All right.
What's up, Midnight Boys? This is Cameron calling from Virginia. So James Gunn came out today and said that Superman is going to be beatable. Are you concerned about that? Because obviously in the trailers, we've seen him absolutely getting worked. Or you like the open-minded idea that he's beatable and has to kind of maneuver his way through it. Appreciate it for all the content you guys give out.
So he's asking about how we feel about Superman basically getting the shit beat out of him.
He can get this Superman can get touched.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
I mean, that's what they had to do it, right?
Sure.
Like, it really, the thing that his biggest weakness is his humanity, is his love for humanity, but that doesn't play anymore. So they're gonna have to probably. I think I saw him using his heat vision and it makes his eyes red.
I like that shit.
I do like that.
I kind of like stuff like that. Like, if you're gonna do a take on him, if you depower the character a touch, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I also, and this is like, I don't know if we got any Snyder questions, but this is something where I'm like, we got almost a decade of these are gods, especially Superman.
Right.
That shit to me visually did not work. And it's like, I liked Man of Steel. I liked certain parts of Justice League. Like, I liked parts of Batman and Superman. But there is something about, like, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about the entire movie, but I'm just like, yeah, let fucking Superman get touched a little bit. It's more entertaining to me. It gives... Also, I'm interested because I feel like we've never gotten a Superman movie where there's room for him to grow. Where it's like, we got it on Smallville, which is like why I really enjoyed the first couple seasons of Smallville. I'm like, oh, like, there's somewhere for this Superman to build to. Where it's like, I'm interested in a Justice League movie where I'm like, by the time Superman gets to the Justice League, he could be Superman. You know, he's not fully fleshed out. Where it's like, part of my problem with the Justice League movie is I'm like, fucking Henry Cavill was like fucking beating all the Justice League. I'm like, why the fuck are they even here?
Yeah. It's the same cynicism with power that like the Snyderverse carried for Superman all those years. And now we have somebody who's maybe not as powerful as Cavill's Superman, but carries himself with with the idealism that actually maybe Superman deserves a bit more.
I like Cavill Superman a lot, and there's certain scenes that stick out, like when Batman was using the kryptonite mist on him,
Mm-hmm.
and Superman was vulnerable. He was
Yeah.
punching,
And he was
punching, and just-
and then all of a sudden he saw, and then Batman kind of backs away slowly.
Fuck.
Like,
That was great.
and he gets, and then the saddest thing about the Snyderverse to me, and we're gonna talk more about the Snyderverse in the coming weeks, is right at the end they found the character to me.
When?
At the end of Justice League, for some reason, I'm looking at him, and Cavill, while he was kind of mopey and whatever before, I enjoyed him as Superman, but at the end of Justice League, like, they found the character. They found how Superman looks at things. They found almost the version of Superman that was resurrected feels like an awesome kind of swaggy, suave, confident version of Superman that I kind of gotten into. But yeah,
If we rewind, do you think it's better if we would have gotten Man of Steel, Ben Affleck gets his own Batman movie, we get Batman versus Superman, and then we get Justice League? Do you think it was like almost too compressed, where it's like, to your point, by the time Henry Cavill finds Superman, is like, shit.
Well, do
get
they
him out of here.
do you even put Wonder Woman in Batman vs
No,
Superman?
I think
Right.
they
No.
should have done.
Right. And so
I don't think they should have done Doomsday either.
No, it was too
of
much.
course
That was
not.
that was a way too bloated movie.
Yeah,
a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
so
What Batman versus Superman? Do you just make that the Lex Luthor movie? Do you just be like, he's a villain, throw in somebody else, maybe a Deathstroke? Don't do the fucking, like, take out Wonder Woman.
So my hot take on that movie is that, not hot take. My take on the movie is that the vision should have come from Snyder, but the filmmaking should have come from someone else. That if Snyder would have turned that over to shit, I don't know, it just
Like, he should have been a Feige-esque figure where it's like he's
I
got
don't
the
think he should have been a
eye in the
5
sky.
figure,
Not a-
but I think another director and another. I don't think he wrote. Like, I think he co-wrote, but like, I think another writer should have.
Makes a better movie.
But and it's not a slight to him. Zach had so much on his mind. When you look at what was happening with that movie or those run of movies, he wanted to do the death of Superman. He wanted to
Flashpoint.
do Flashpoint. He
The Dark
wanted to
Knight
do
Returns.
the Dark Knight Returns. He wanted to do Injustice. He wanted to do so much that I think he got a little bit bogged down in his own ambition. And that's why having a couple of other creatives that could maybe flush it out and go back and forth with him would have made the vision that he had maybe a little bit more achievable. Because look, I enjoyed those movies. I'm not a Snyderverse hater. I'm not. You guys know that. I enjoyed those movies for the most part, particularly in their final form. But it was just too much. It was
that's
too
fair.
much. But and Superman got lost in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got one from Chris. It's a long one, but I think it's worth it.
Yo, Midnight Boys, this is Chris. I am a day one Midnight Rider, and I love you guys. But I want to ask about Superman. When I think of Superman, I am reminded of a conversation that you guys had maybe 3 years ago about Superman, son of Kal-El. And now myself, as an older gay man, in fandom, which can sometimes be a weird thing, and I am older than Van, I'm 51. When I start to hear, 4 straight guys have a conversation like this, I'm like, oh God, how's this going to go? But all of you spoke so beautifully and eloquently and were so supportive. And it was just so meaningful to me. I played it for friends and students, and it was just awesome. So I think it's just important for you to know, as much as we all come to hang out with you and laugh with you, New Midnight Court when this work that you do is so meaningful as well. And if I could sneak a question in, I love Tyler Hoechlin's take on Clark and Superman. So I know, even though it's a wildly different version, that's going to be in the back of my head watching this new movie. But I'm just curious what everyone's sort of Superman baggage is that they bring into this. I really hope it's good. Love to you all. Bye.
I have some Superman baggage.
Lock
I don't
in.
know if it's
Yeah.
baggage. The one thing that worries me about this movie is I feel like we never really, especially in the movies, we never really get into like the Superman lore. It always feels like we go back to the same thing, which is like Lex Luthor, Kryptonite, which is all like the building blocks of it. But like when I was into comics and reading Superman, I want Brainiac. I want like fucking like
You want that weird
the
stuff.
I want the Bottle City. You know what I'm saying? I want the different kryptonites and the different suns and like I want like the Phantom, like not like the like bitch made like Phantom Zone, like the real
Bitch
ones. Like
made
we
Phantom
like,
Zone.
you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we never get like the wet because like even though I feel like Superman don't got the rogues gallery that Batman has, I feel like Toy Master it's just. Like sometimes I want them to do the actual weird shit.
I feel like if anybody's gonna bring Toy Master in, it's James Gunn.
Yeah.
Banshee,
So
live.
here's the thing about like going full on nerd with Superman, right? I feel like, I mean, we don't even do this now with a lot of these superheroes, but with Superman in particular, he's so different. He's like, again, like a beacon. He's supposed to be this like person in the sky you can call to any time, whatever. We don't have time to mess around with like pink kryptonite, bro. Come on, man.
I
Like,
mean,
that's
yeah,
not-
but like,
that's
we
not-
can't get the Bottle City of Candor.
I mean,
What
not
did
that
you just
quickly.
say?
Maybe not movie one.
Yeah,
we
maybe
were
not
just
movie
talking
one.
about like maybe this has too
We
much
can't
and
get
not enough
we can't
Superman
get
in it.
Brainiac. Like,
Brainiac, I can see Brainiac, right? I can see they made him the villain of Justice 2. We could see Brainiac in live action sooner rather than later. But for like mass audience type stuff, they always got to dumb it down. There's a reason why the X-Men didn't come out in 2000 with the yellow suits on, right? They all had them in leather because that would look nuts. Now we've kind of gone like a little closer to making things more comic book accurate, but there's still some stuff. I don't know if the folks are ready for that. The folks at home might not be there for that.
we can't get Parasite. Like,
I think they're ready for anything.
Really?
yeah.
I'm ready for my Red Lantern Corps. How about that?
I think they're ready for anything.
No, we are not putting the Red
Red
Lantern.
Lantern? They can't
No,
get
we're not doing Red
What?
Lantern.
The Bottle City of come
I
on,
think
man.
the MCU proved that the fans are ready for anything.
I hope so.
They didn't know
Wait.
who Thanos was.
Did y'all see the fucking Mole Man shit from Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah, Gigantor's gonna be in it.
Gigantor,
Yeah, like
yeah.
the
the
big,
fans
like-
are ready for whatever you can make compelling.
Mhm.
They've had to make some of these B and C list characters and B and C list villains into big enough deals for them to like be in a movie.
They're making a Clayface movie. They just
yeah,
cast
so
Clayface.
like I think the fans, the superhero seal has been broken, and so you can do whatever now. You know, some of that stuff, DC always takes it to the max in terms of wonkiness and sometimes kookiness. So
but
I'm sure there's a line, but
we haven't seen the Lazarus Pit in live action, have we?
I mean,
like-
there was like the metaphorical Lazarus Pit and Rises.
Well, we didn't
so-
see it in Batman Begins, but they hinted at it.
Yeah, it was like a metaphor because
but
it was
that's
just a
for-
prison
yeah,
that was a
that's for-
pole in the
That's
ground.
for me and you. That's for us.
But once again, Bane made for a super cool fucking villain.
Sure.
But it takes a cool filmmaker to go, my God, there's more meat on the bone with that character. We can make that character into something amazing and have a take on it. Gotta have a take on it. Like a take on Bane or Thanos or the rest of this. You have to be oh my God, this is when Michael Shannon, because Michael Shannon's Zod was amazing.
That was actually
Good
awesome.
Zod.
That was a great
Good
Zod.
Michael
Zod.
Shannon, I knew that he would play a good Zod. And this is not to come at Terrence Stamp's Zod, who is one of my favorite movie characters of all time. Terrence Stamp looks at, it was actually very subtle in the juxtaposition between Zod and Superman. Very subtle. Superman's all human or whatever, and he's accepting all the frailty of the human beings. Zod looks at Lex Luthor and he goes, why do you say this to me when you know that I will kill you?
That's great. That is great. Zod's awesome.
Lex is giving his thoughts and saying this stuff like that, and Zod is like, who the fuck are you talking to? when Superman just lets you say whatever the fuck you want to say to him. Like, Zod, you're a lower life form. Why are you speaking to me this way? But Michael Shannon's Zod was like, they asked him about being a villain, and Michael Shannon goes, no, he's not a villain. He's not a villain at all. He's not a villain. He's not a villain. He might be the villain of this story, but this guy is not a villain. Yeah. And then you watch the movie and you go, shit, he's not a villain.
No.
He don't give a fuck about human beings.
Yeah. I will find him.
Yeah, I will find him. But like he don't get, but he's not a villain. He has a point of view about the future and the present of Krypton, and that's what his duty is.
Yeah.
And Jor-El looks at things differently. He's not a villain. He's just not human, and that made the character interesting. So I feel like even that character, who is obviously a bigger deal Superman villain than anyone else, I think they could do that with other characters.
But I'm just tired of like going back to like Zod. Like basically in what Superman movies we've gotten Lex Luthor, Zod,
Doomsday.
That's it. That's it.
Fucking
not
Superman,
a deep bench.
Nuclear Man, which I loved.
Sure, man.
Then we got Richard Pryor and who played the guy? The really well-known older actor who played the villain in Superman 3.
Oh.
He was a computer guy. You guys don't remember Superman 3?
Not really, no.
Watched up to 2.
You guys have never seen Superman 3.
Why would I do that?
What was the character's name?
The fuck you mean? Why would you do it? Like, how could you have not seen Superman? Huh?
What was the character's name?
I can't remember, but Richard Pryor was a computer guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And this dude, Gus, and this guy, Richard Pryor, was funny in it. It was Superman and Richard Pryor together.
Ross Webster.
Yeah, and then at the end, like that's Superman's kicking rockets, and at the end, the guy becomes the computers attack him, and then he, whatever.
Yeah, but we like that though.
He was cool to me. But the coolest thing about Superman 3 is that it happens in the movie that Superman he goes bad. And he becomes a bad version of himself. And Superman starts trying to, y'all never saw this? This is hilarious.
I do remember the scene in the bar. That's what I remember, where we have like the iconic thing where he's drinking and he's flicking the peanuts.
They do something to Superman. I haven't seen it in a while. They do something into Superman, and Superman goes bad. And his suit gets dirty.
Yeah.
He starts trying to holler at hoes.
Stop.
I swear.
I believe
what type?
you.
Like Ladies of the Night?
No, so there's a woman in the film. It's been a while since I've seen it. You guys have seen it so many times. Not Lana. Lana's in there and Lois is in there, but there's another woman who works with the computer guy. And Superman flies to her. He's trying to get it in. He's trying to get it popping. He's flicking the thing like he's at the bar drinking.
Is it Lorelei?
Yeah, I think it might be. He's drinking, and then there's this gigantic fight between Clark Kent. Clark Kent splits off from Superman. Their two psyches split off.
All right.
Y'all are fucking
Turn
whack.
that off.
That's a lot of zip on the chip in Superman 3.
Their psyches split off, and then there's a fight in a junkyard.
Oh yeah, I've seen
between Clark Kent. He's dressed up as Clark Kent, and the dirty, fucked up Superman. He's throwing tires over Clark Kent. He's doing the whole thing, and then Clark Kent wins. His suit becomes clean. He flies away. Superman's back. And now
it's a deep
Superman
metaphor.
can come fight.
Do you guys remember that
I loved
scene
it.
from Smallville where Clark is getting bricked up in class?
Yeah, and he starts shooting laser,
and his laser starts shooting out of his eyes.
Yeah. That's great. That's funny.
That's great.
Honestly, that's when I stopped fucking with Smallville.
Really?
Because I was
wait. Before we get into Smallville, actually ask the no-name questions. I think this it's right on the money.
Okay. All right.
What's up, Midnight Boys? Pew, pew, pew. Just want to see what your guys' thoughts are on which Superman movie, TV show best fits your vision of Superman. What's your favorite version of Superman? It could be animated or live action.
By the way, real quick, did we even answer that gentleman's question that he had before?
Yeah, what are Superman baggages?
What was our baggage?
Oh,
We're talking
baggage.
about
Okay.
like villains, you know,
funkiness, stuff like that.
Yeah, shout out Chris.
My favorite Superman, obviously, is Christopher Reeves Superman.
Right. Yeah. I was watching Smallville with my sister. That was like my first intro into Superman. And so to your point, like I'm watching him like find himself, find his powers, and that scene in class was like just some of the most. Even at my like small age, I was like, all right, man, what's going on here? Like,
No,
it kind
I
of did
was
lose
with
the dip on the chip later. You know, like I would look. I'm not
Oh yeah,
gonna lie
wait,
to
you
you.
was a little kid. Like Lana Lang was looking good.
But
in that
I was
show,
saying,
right?
I was Team Lana, bro. I was before.
You were Team
I was
Lana?
like,
hell yes.
who's Lois, bro? I didn't know who Lois was.
Fuck Lois. Lana Lang. I'm
Nah.
just like,
Well, I
hey,
was Lana
yo.
Lang all the way, bro. Come on. That was my first iteration of Superman, and so like, yeah, it did get a little crazy, but like in its prime, Smallville, special TV.
I will say, yo, the Superman show that they made, there was like Batman the animated series and the Superman.
That show was
animated
great.
series.
Fantastic.
That's good.
That was just, I think to this day, that's my favorite Lois Lane in anything. I think that Lois Lane portrayal is amazing. I remember there's like, I haven't watched that show in decades, but like when fucking Granny Goodness and Apocalypse shows up, the Dark Side and all that shit, I was like, what the fuck is happening? How is Superman, to me, the animated series, I feel like they've never really captured that in the movies. That kind of like time period and aesthetic and regalness and Superman being like a boss and you can't fuck with him, but also having that tender side.
And there would be moments when Batman shows up and he absolutely fucks with Superman.
No,
the episode where he steals Lois for this.
Animated Batman was still like, nigga, you ain't.
He came and like put it on Lois, dog.
It was
Clark
so crazy.
was just out there like, hey man, what you doing? It was like, hey man, this is big baller business. Like, this is not for you. It's not for the little niggas.
Animated Batman
was
a dirty Mac in mug.
This is my favorite thing about their relationship is you don't really get a concept of how insane Batman actually is until Superman's right there.
Yeah.
Batman's fucking crazy.
He's nuts.
Okay, like Batman doesn't give a fuck about anything at all. He is taunting Superman. He's taunting him. Most powerful being he's taunting him. Like, I can fuck with you. And like doing crazy little shit. And like even in Batman versus Superman in the movie, like fucking Batman is popping this shit, and I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, are you out of your mind? Have you lost your and once again he's like he has. I don't fuck this guy. Like,
but what I like about it though is just like if you think about it, that shit would happen. Like Clark, that motherfucker was raised in Smallville, like values, whatever.
Bruce Wayne is the quintessential city boy.
Yeah, dog, that's like, imagine if fucking Superman saw Chief Keef at the Idol, like at the peak of Love Social, he like, damn, like he'd be like, shit, really, like that's Batman to him. He's like, damn, you can't tell this little nigga nothing.
Can't tell him nothing. and he got some shit figured out. I will say that second to Christopher Reeve is Superman and Lois, which to me shows you that you can take the character and give a contemporary portrayal of the character and succeed. I actually think we're in a golden age of Superman portrayals between that and My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah.
Which is also a show that comes at Superman through a different lens, with a different aesthetic, with a different storytelling style, but still gives you a compelling version of the character. Which, if I'm gonna have to lose Superman and Lois, which had a shit ton of heart, which had a shit ton of reverence to me, and even ended in a brilliantly heartbreaking way, and they're gonna give me this new Superman flying around with red eyes they better get it right.
Oh man.
Sure. All right, man. I don't want to hear nothing about you being like, oh man, James Gunn fucked up. This ain't the CW Superman. Like, nah, nigga, bro.
I mean, I enjoyed the show, and James Gunn came along and said, hey, no more show. There can only be one Superman on the block.
Only one Superman, but multiple Batmans. All right.
I mean, he has no choice. He's going up against another big swinging dick when you talk about Matt Reeves. Or maybe he's not. Or maybe he's... Actually, James Gunn could be conning the entire fandom. And running out the clock on y'all.
This is like a Travis Scott Pusha T situation with James Gunn and Matt Reeves. You know what I'm saying? Where like...
Matt Reeves is harmless?
I don't know. It's just starting to seem like there's a little bit of a beef situation going on.
I don't think it's beef, man. I just think he's waiting.
He called that man slow.
That is crazy.
He's calling another man. Here's the thing.
So, and the slow thing to me, like as disrespectful
It's a
as it
screenwriting
seems,
term.
I know,
it's a
I know.
Yeah.
We know, right?
He takes his time.
If we're gonna take it like it's disrespect, whatever. But remember, Matt Reeves went up to the world and was like, "Yeah, I got the script. Hell yeah, we locked in. It's good." James Gunn was like, "Hold on, player. It's not really. We're not really done yet."
You might think it's good,
but then Matt Reeves come back and be like, "Yeah, we're still like tying up some things, but we're right there." That was however long ago that was, and they're still like, we haven't seen nothing. This and this. Like, I don't know how much longer you can act like they haven't been working on this movie for nearly 3 years.
If I'm Matt Reeves, you can't tell me shit. You can't have someone who I feel like is like on my level as a peer. Like, nah, bro. You're not my boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
at this point,
he could shut his
He's
movie
new
down
management.
if he wanted to.
right.
Whoa, I thought maybe
If James Gunn decides that Batman movie is not getting made, that Batman movie is not getting made.
I thought that you might be right. I thought when I was originally like reading like when James Gunn was appointed that Matt Reeves Batman is still under Abdi and Luca and like that.
It certainly is. But if James Gunn goes, you know what, guys? He doesn't. If James Gunn decides right now, you know what, guys? I don't want that movie to be made. It's not getting made. They gave him the entire free reign of
that universe.
Universe. If the only reason why he wouldn't do that, in my opinion, is because he doesn't want the blowback from the fans.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's literally
the thing that's
holding
if he
him
goes
back.
to them right now and goes,
And I guarantee you, if that first film didn't do as well as it did, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
not at all.
Yeah.
And what would happen then is Matt Reeves goes, I really wanted to make the Batman 2, but then James Gunn said, I don't want to make the Batman 2. So
also, it's a
Batman 2 is
Snyderverse
dead.
situation all over again, where it's just like, I think James Gunn also knows no matter how good his Batman movie might be, if they cancel the Batman 2, you always have the thing in your back about like, you robbed us of that. How good would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he's walking a game. He's walking a tightrope. To me, that has more to do with PR than whether or not he could stop the movie
Agreed.
being made.
So
He could certainly
interesting.
stop the movie.
It's so interesting that the optics could possibly determine whether or not that movie's even.
I mean, that's the game, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's nuts.
We got one last Superman question from our guy Jose in Dallas.
My name is Jose from Dallas. I wanted to know, when it comes to Superman, if it does become a failure, does this mean that the DCU is over? I mean, I want it to succeed, but, I want you guys' opinions and takes on it. Appreciate taking my call.
I don't think there's any world where Superman is a failure at this point, just based on where it's tracking. Now, I still think it could be underwhelming in terms of like, if critics shit on it, and let's say it doesn't make as much money as they're projecting, but like at this point, I think it's going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. I just think this is all, when we're talking about failure, to me, what James Gunn has to prove with this movie is that like, all right, I sold you on Superman. Did I get you enough? Did I get you excited enough to check out Supergirl? Did I get you excited enough to check out Peacemaker season 2? All the ancillary stuff. That's what Marvel was really, really good at. The success of Iron Man was like, all right, shit, I'll give Thor a chance. I'll give Captain America a chance. I think that's the real test with Superman. It's a failure if they can't convince us this is a universe where I want to spend all of my time.
Well, also, something else that Marvel had going for it is the intrigue surrounding those characters is that we had never seen them before.
Yeah.
So we hadn't seen Thor on the big screen, of course. Thor was in Incredible Hulk movie from the 80s. You guys don't want to watch it, that's
All
fine.
right.
From the 80s?
Daredevil was in.
is
The
old.
trial of
is
Incredible Hulk.
old.
In case you guys don't wanna watch it,
old.
that's fine. You don't want to see it. That's cool. Whatever you guys want to do. But we hadn't seen these characters. It was like, oh my God, huge, big Captain America movie, huge, big Thor movie. They're doing Doctor Strange. They're doing fucking the Guardians of the Galaxy. We had never seen these characters before.
Right.
These DC characters, we've seen them. We've seen Green Lantern. We haven't seen Mr. Terrific, which is very interesting. I'm interested to see how Mr. Terrific looks. Some of these characters, we've seen these characters.
Oh, we've seen Mr. Terrific in the Great Arrow series.
Oh, wow. He
Oh,
was
wow.
He was in Arrow series. It's true. So
The Arrowverse, shout out to the Arrowverse.
Arrowverse was, don't laugh. All right, you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Jomi. I know you're not fucking laughing.
Some of the Arrowverse was good.
Some of the Arrowverse was cooking.
And see,
it was good.
A little bit of the Flash show was good.
The first couple seasons of them shows were good.
Grant Gustin.
and so was my show, but y'all don't want to give my show any
The
lip of
Arrowverse
respect.
was on a completely different
Y'all don't
level
want to
than
give my
Agents of
show.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
There is no season of any of those shows that's better than season 4 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
All
I'll
right,
tell
you
you that
are
right
lying.
now.
All right.
I'll tell you that right now.
All right, cool.
Well, I haven't seen season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I can't say that.
This is what?
I'll tell you that right now. Facts.
There
Facts.
wasn't an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s verse. There was an Arrowverse. You know what I'm saying?
All right, bro. I mean, sure, whatever. You got y'all. Yeah, cool. I'm just saying
Did people watch that Captain Carter show? No.
the level of respect that y'all show for those shows versus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
All
It
right.
just seems very targeted and pointed. I just kind of feel like if you like, it's crazy to disrespect that and be like, hey, you know what was cool? Arrow season 6. That's
I'm
nuts.
not that far.
That's
I'm not
that's
going that
crazy.
far.
I mean, people really liked it, but I don't know.
I'll still watch it season 6. I was
Right.
locked in.
Yeah.
I think the line of demarcation for me, whether success or failure for Superman, is really, really like low. I think the floor is so low for this movie. If people like it and it makes money, great. It's just because it's the beginning of the DCU's foray into theaters, like the first time people are going to see this, like this movie universe on screen. And so as long as people show up and people go, hey, that was cool, then you can like have building blocks. You can say like, here's where we go from here.
So it doesn't have to be great for you.
It doesn't have to be great. Doesn't have to be
No.
great. I think if it is great and then it makes $1 billion, then James Gunn can start swinging his dick. He might just be like, yo, I'm gonna cancel the Batman movie. Y'all like Superman, I can do whatever I want. Blah, 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 this and this, whatever.
If this movie makes $1 billion, I do think that's James Gunn. Nigga, guess what? Yo, Batman is a Marvel universe now.
I don't know if this
God.
makes $1 billion. I don't think it has to worry about financially failing.
No.
I don't like it's not
No.
going to not make money. I think the main thing that has to worry, like you said, like is carry over to any of the next properties. Like if critics don't like it as much, then it's going to be a pretty tough sell to be like, all right, well, next up is Supergirl.
The Supergirl
We've gotta-
movie to me is going to be a hard sell.
It feels like as we keep getting deeper in the DC bench and we don't have a Wonder Woman movie and we don't have a new Batman movie, if we don't have a rock solid Superman movie to start it off with, that's going to be a harder sell to be like, well, look forward to Clayface.
Yeah, you get
Like as cool as I think that movie could
Clayface
be,
won't be a movie for everybody.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
as hard of a sell as it is to get a lot of people to see a Clayface movie, that is 100% getting made and will be probably happening sooner than we see a Wonder Woman movie.
See, the
happening.
Clayface movie only has to be good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make. If I'm gonna tell you straight up right now, if they go and spend $150 million on a Clayface movie, they're stupid.
Yeah, that's like 40 million maybe.
The Clayface movie, you're gonna have to spend more than that. But the Clayface movie only has to be good.
Sure.
It legitimately only has to be good. You need that movie to be a marginal success, but that movie has to be good.
Yeah.
Because that's a character that nobody really gives a fuck about.
Sure.
So you have to go into this movie going, why did they make that? And then come out on the other side going, oh, I see where that character and that portrayal fits into this universe and to this larger storytelling. We'll tell you this though. We're acting as if we're living in a world where these superhero movies don't hit $1 billion as much as they used to. I guess we are. However, Deadpool and Wolverine made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there is a world where looking at Deadpool and Wolverine together being a much, much bigger property than Superman is a little chilling to the Warner Brothers people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers is desperate for a hit.
It's like Superman needs to be good, but this movie needs to make some money. It doesn't have to make as much as that money because those characters were so well established in film and all of that stuff. But it would be great if the movie could make a shit ton of fucking money.
So, but this is also my thing about why I think you shouldn't put Robert Pattinson in this universe. I think what they actually need, but is the hardest thing, is they need to find their Batman who can play the Robert Downey Jr. role. They need to find that character. They need to find they need to find their Wolverine, where it's like, Hey, Spider-Man.
They need their charisma machine.
They need their charisma machine, and I don't know if Superman is the character or Corn Sweat is the actor, and that's nothing against him. Who is that person in the DCU when everything is failing? He's going to get you a bucket. Where you're not really sure about this.
It could never be Batman. The character's too. The question. Okay, I ask you this. Let me not say that.
But the animated series did. That is where they got it. Where it was like Batman was the backbone. Justice League.
I think he doesn't mean like actually Robert Downey Jr. and his clippiness.
The character is so dark though.
Yeah, but it just needs somebody who like can come in.
Your anchor point.
Yeah, like whether it's like either performance or his films.
I mean,
are so
basically
good.
what Zach tried.
Right, but every time he comes through, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's he's gonna put up 15 or he's gonna put up 30.
Can it be Superman? I don't know if they actually can. Is Superman the type of character like? To me, even though Superman is so popular, Wolverine is like different to me. Wolverine outsells Superman in terms of like comics. People still want to read X-Men and Wolverine comics in a way. People don't really want to read Superman comics. People don't really want to play Superman games. Same thing with Spider-Man. Same thing with Batman. To me, Superman is a heart. Like he's the most iconic of those characters. Mm-hmm. But it's like you do need someone in the DC universe who is a Wolverine or a Spider-Man who can kind of like wherever you place them.
Just a badass.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
What if Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is our charisma machine?
Shit, bro.
I love it. I love it.
Honestly, Green Lantern, I think could have been that type of character.
He could
like a Hal Jordan type. Honestly, like a Wally West. Like I'm remembering who Wally was in the Justice League cartoon of just like a very quippy, funny character. When he's around, he's the heart of the team. He doesn't take too much away, always adding some more. But yeah.
I also, do you remember that moment in, I think it was the Justice League cartoon, where I think it was like Lex Luthor swapped bodies with the Flash, and he goes into the bathroom, he's like, all right, you're about to find the Flash's secret identity. And he takes his mask off, and he's like, I have no idea who this is.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
All right, do we have any other non-Superman mailbag?
We got a question about Ironheart that I think I want to hit on. I think this is from AC.
AC, yeah.
Disney Plus dumping that shit. They giving it 2 weeks.
Well, stay tuned.
What's up, y'all? It's AC, and I just seen this whole Ironheart episode release schedule thing where they doing the 3-episode drop, and then they doing one more 3-episode drop, and it's just 2 weeks. And my general question is especially after what they did with Echo, dropping all that at the same time, why does it feel like it's something that they're doing with just women of color? I'm just curious. It seems like Marvel Studios is trying to bury these things, and it just seems kind of nasty to me. It seems like some nasty work. So I wanted to get y'all's takes on it, because everything that we've seen in the MCU so far in terms of how, at least in this last iteration of it, as far as how the marketing goes, and it seems like Thunderbolts was marketed very well. Fantastic Four seems like it was marketed very well. And it seems like some other shows and some other things, when it comes specifically to whether it's women or women of color in this case, it just seems like they really are trying to bury these things. So I want to know if y'all feel similarly, or is there something else behind the reason why they're doing things specifically with something like Ironheart and Echo, as I mentioned earlier. In the meantime, y'all enjoy. Appreciate y'all's podcast. Keep doing the great work. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Take it easy.
So I've become cynical in this entire debate.
How so?
Because I can't articulate the importance of watching these things. Because, like, if I say, I'll go back to this argument that we had on on Higher Learning. Remember, they put the same-sex kiss in, I guess it was Buzz Lightyear. Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they made a big deal about the movie, and everybody was talking about it. The movie comes out. The movie doesn't do that well. Well, now Disney's going to be like, okay, well, what's the purpose of doing it? Now, if you look at it and you go, Disney should make that movie with those characters because it's the right thing to do. It's just a losing argument. It's a losing argument. There has to be something in it for the corporation. There's not a group of people sitting together at Disney going, let's make the choices that are best for shaping society and the world. No. What they listened to were people who outwardly said with loud voices on social media that we want diverse characters, we want different stories, we want a deviation from the straight white male orthodoxy of comic book storytelling. And then people didn't watch the shit. And so if you're criticizing them on the backside for either we can't exist in a state of perpetual criticism when it comes to this stuff. There has to be activism in the way that we watch and cover this stuff. We have to watch it because it's a young black girl. We have to watch it because it's women, because it's gay. We have to watch it for those reasons. And we have to watch it for those reasons, even if it's bad. We still have to watch it. If we're going to be activists in the criticism, then we have to be activists in the participation. You can't just criticize this shit because they're dumping it and then not have a specific point of view on the way you interact with the content. Now, look, we didn't have to go and watch Black Panther in that way or some other characters in that way. I get it. But look, it puts too much pressure on each individual product to be stellar. And the actual quality of the product to me is secondary to the consumer saying we want a realignment of the way these stories are told. Because, and last thing I'll say, if you take all the movies that are being made, the percentage of good to great movies is always going to be buried by the movies that are just okay or that are bad. The difference is not who's able to make good movies. That's not the difference. The difference is who's able to make bad ones. And that's always been the thing in this town. Who can make a bad movie? Who can make a movie that people don't like and then get another chance? Or still get people to interact with it? Or still get people to be like, well, we can kind of see what's in. Who can make a bad movie? That's who denotes who has the ability to really make stuff and the freedom to create. What people are seemingly saying now is everything that we get female-led is, or everything that we get women of color-led, or everything that we get character of color-led is bad. It's bad. It's bad, so we don't want it. It's bad. You guys got to do better with it. Well, they might make a second season of Obi-Wan, but they're definitely not going to make a second season of The Acolyte.
Right.
So it's like when I hear the criticism, I understand the criticism, but there has to be the will from the consumers of this stuff to want different outcomes. Like, we have to cover Ironheart just because it's a young black girl. We have to cover it.
Well, but can I ask this? Because I do think, if I'm being so honest, I think it's a bunch of factors that are converging. Because I feel this way. I can't talk from the perspective of a woman or a woman of color, obviously. But to me, nerd spaces aren't safe in general. Just in terms of, like, when you look at the demographics of our show, of these movies or whatever, typically it's very, very, like, very, very white, very, very male. A lot of times it skews conservative. So already that's an uphill battle in terms of just, like, the ceiling on any property that's led by a woman, directed by a woman is going to be lower just because you're dealing with a pocket of society who does not respect women. I think.
You think that's blanketly true?
Huh?
You think that's blanketly true?
I think in terms of just, like, if you're Disney and you're, like, looking at the data of what people support, you're probably seeing, like, oh, if we put a black person in this, if we put a woman in this, if we put any person of color, we see it did. I'm not saying that that's right. I think there's another thing that happens as well, where it's like, I agree with you. Zack Snyder can make a bunch of shitty fucking movies. And it's like, or even if I don't call them shitty, like movies that don't make as much money as they need to, critically, whatever, he's going to get to make more movies. Nia DaCosta, to me, Marvel's ain't her fault, but it's going to hurt a Nia DaCosta way more than it's ever going to hurt a Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder. That's just the world we live in. But I also think the thing that is unfair when we talk about something like the Marvels, when we talk about Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Echo, or whatever, all of these women are getting this chance. They're getting basically like, the fucking leftovers. They're getting characters that are a little harder to do. They're at a time when Marvel is at a low. Everything that they're going up against historically is like a mirror of what it's like to be a woman in Hollywood. So I think when we're like,
this is why they need you more.
No, I understand that, but I do think that there just is a reality of have these corporations, has culture, nerd culture in general, especially when it comes to MCU, DC, Star Wars, has it done a good enough job historically and in modern times making it a space where women even want to come into it to support this shit? Or is it like, dog, why do I even want to open? Like sometimes with these actresses, I'm like, why would a Black actress even want to be in Star Wars at this point? Like, besides the money, because anytime they enter it, you're entering into a culture war where it's like, dog, I might as well have not even done it. And I don't know how to fix it, but I don't even know if quality is actually the point.
You fix it with your support. The only way to fix it is with your support. You fix it with your support. That's how you fix it.
No. But like when I'm talking about on a structural level, where it's like, okay, was there ever, knowing all we know now, was there ever a world where something like Echo or Agatha or Ironheart or She-Hulk was ever going to do what their male counterparts did? Probably not, because they're on Disney Plus. The budget is lower. The story, they were set up to fail from the beginning in a way where I'm just like, that's like what those
Charles,
directors, those writers couldn't really do
on
anything.
You to bring up Agatha in this situation. That was a good,
right.
That was a good show.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Agatha was great.
That was a good show, which you refused to finish watching. And so
I didn't like Agatha.
I get it. What I'm saying is that was actually a good show. Like what I'm talking about right now is, look, everything that you are saying right now, I get all of that stuff, right? Everything that you were saying, I get it. The way that you combat all of that is to cover these performers and these people in your support.
But here's
and
the thing.
Support is both rhetorical, online, and stuff like that. That support is both rhetorical, online, but it's also in the way that you engage with the stuff that's being put out.
I think you guys are both making good points with your support and just how these things get done nowadays. But I think the thing that for me is kind of bothering me the most is that the decision's already been made, right? Bob Iger came out. This is from an interview with CNBC he did. And it's the bottom line is that infusing messaging as sort of a number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to. They need to be entertaining. And where the Disney company can have a positive impact on the world, whether it's, fostering acceptance or understanding of people of all different types, great. But generally speaking, we need to be entertainment for an entertainment first company. And I've worked really hard to do that. So they've heard you guys and said, all right, here's your Echoes, here's your Ironhearts. Watch them or don't.
That's him. That statement, I got to name this. That statement is him punting because, and let me tell you why I say this. What there's a difference between a message and a character.
Right.
Right. If we're watching Ironheart and Ironheart is building her suit and she goes, I can't tell you how hard it is to be a Black girl from the South Side of Chicago, a genius.
Did you rewatch the show?
And no one even appreciates your genius. because so much of the world is up against you. Everywhere you look, people are trying to. That's being heavy-handed with your messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Having a character that wants to save the world that happens to not be male and white in a universe where so many people want to save the world is not wokeness.
No,
that's not wokeness.
Yes,
that's not wokeness. That's existed in. I think that there's been some heavy-handedness. There's two things. Number one, there's an agenda to make every character that's not male and white a woke character. Just like there's an agenda to make every leader that's not male and white a DEI hire. Either you believe that or you don't.
Yeah.
If you believe that your plane is going to crash because your pilot is black, I'm not going to have an argument with you. There's a psychosis there that I can't connect with. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is Disney is taking a cue from the consumer that's not engaging with the content.
Right.
And saying, okay, they don't want this stuff, so we're not going to make it. And then we're saying they should make it, even though we're not watching it.
And my question, though, is because, like, I can only talk. I feel this way, and this is why people think I'm an asshole for a lot of reasons. I think we have a thing that we do in minority spaces where we tell people you got to support everything, which I agree. Like, if like a black person is directing something or writing something, my heartstrings do get tugged on. I'm like, damn, I got to support. But I can't get up on a platform and be like, the mid was incredible. And a lot of times I feel like as cultural critics, as podcasters, we do this thing where I'm just like, hey, yo, y'all are like, Disney's here to make money. If Disney makes something and it's shitty, I'm going to be like, hey, yo, this didn't rise to my level of like, I can only be honest. We can't always lie as well. Like, we have to have two conversations where we're like, more people of color, women in general need more opportunities. But I do think that we do need to, like, I think it's belittling where we're like, sometimes we give people a pass where I'm just like, hey, yo, this shit didn't work. And it's fine. Sometimes shit doesn't work. Like, it doesn't have to be like you're a misogynist or you're racist or you're this or that for being like, hey, yo, they tried, didn't work. Like, we hope more people get an opportunity.
Right. And that you got to watch it, though. Like, that's like, this is the way I feel. And this is what it comes down to. I don't waste my breath in criticism in anything that I'm not willing to be involved with intellectually or structurally. I'm not about to tell you that if there's something that happens in Miami right now that I'm about to get on the plane and go protest in Miami. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is if I'm willing to have an opinion on that, I'm willing to sit down and read about the case. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to platform people to talk about it. If I'm willing to go do all of that stuff, if I say that it matters to me, action in some way has to mean that it matters. This isn't about any one specific show or any one specific thing. You are right. Queen and Slim suck. It sucked. That movie broke me. That movie was the movie. I'm being for real.
Oh, really? I don't doubt it.
That movie was the movie where I'm like, I can't pretend like this shit was good. I won't do it. And whatever that cost me in the town or I can't pretend like this movie was a good movie. This movie was an abomination for many different reasons. I'm sure they had the best intentions in making it. And whatever. You asked me about Two Distant Strangers. That shit is all right. Just all right. We wanted to say what we said and we said it, but that's not a world beater of a film. But we executed what we needed to execute. We got to where we were going with it. And that's what matters. Anybody who doesn't like the movie, it's more than all right to me. But I get how anybody that doesn't like the movie, that's fine. That's okay. I'm just asking that if me and my homies get together and self-fund a movie about the way that we feel in this particular moment, being black, that y'all just watch it. Because y'all gonna go, just watch it. Because when the shit comes out and it's Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan, y'all gonna go see that. I couldn't give a fuck less about that. But I just gotta see the art. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not really even, it's like, I get his question. He's like, are we burying women-led things. The question is not, are they burying them? The question is, are we burying them? And if we're doing our best to get out and support this stuff and watch this stuff, then cool. Then we'll just get white stories. And that might be where we are. Mm-hmm. We'll get Steve.
Steve as Black Panther's son. Yeah. Black Panther's son.
Dog, that was crazy. They really making Black Panther's son. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Let's go.
But see, but you know what they knew though?
Yeah.
They knew that would get the niggas going.
Yeah. They're like, what?
We wasn't picking up Black Panther comics before that, but they like,
absolutely
we weren't watching them. They knew that would get the niggas going. My bad, Steve. I talked way too much in this.
No, that's fine. I think the naive thought process behind the 3-episode dump into the next 3-episode dump is okay, well maybe Disney and Marvel isn't exactly proud of the projects that they put out in this way, so they hope that you can just all right, we get it over with. If people liked it, great, and if they didn't, it didn't last too long. Yet they would still drag out a Secret Invasion for 6 weeks or whatever the hell that they have. And to the point of the matter, it is yeah, Echo wasn't that great. We didn't rock with Echo as much as we would have loved to. It still should have been given a fair enough shake that, say, a Daredevil did or anybody else did. But instead, they decide to bury it in a way. And yes, I agree with you that it is on us to still support those things if those things really matter.
If you care.
If you really do.
If you don't care, then that's cool.
But then the consumerist naivety is well, I can't just go to a restaurant because it's owned by people that we know. And if the food's bad, I can't just keep coming.
I didn't start doing that with black-owned I was in my bag, and then I'd start going, I'm like, all right, y'all got to get it.
This is such an interesting thing because I do that.
You kind of have to.
You get 2 visits from me. If it's fucked up on both visits,
I get what you're saying.
You know,
but it's people that come up to me all the time, man. Van, would you support this, retweet this, do this? I care about Black people being able to fail.
Sure.
I do.
They should be allowed to.
Right. I care about them being able to fail. So I go, hey, yeah, I'll support it. Yo, Van, how was it? Man, y'all got a lot of fat on the oxtails, bro.
Right.
I'm going to be honest with you. Can you post about it? Nah, I can't post about it because I can't really send. I can post about it saying that I'm going there. If somebody asks me how it was, I got to be real. Y'all got a lot of fat on the oxtails. You probably need some better oxtails. But I have to go. And it's such a man.
And it's such a fucked up thing to be okay, well, if they fail once, then you don't have any other shots. Whereas again, the people in those industries that
I give Black people more of a, because I'm just hey, yo, for a white director, I'm you probably know 10 motherfuckers 10, 50, 20 motherfuckers in the industry. I know Black people. I'm you, 9 times out of 10, you have to get it out the mud, blah, blah, blah. Right. But what I want to ask is, if we take Sinners, for example, are we almost past the point where we should even be trusting the MCU, trusting DC, trusting Star Wars with these things? Or is it I'm just hey, yo, y'all really not going to tell
I think that's
the good stories?
I think that's actually a great kind of deception of pop culture and capitalism, where you think that the stories that they put out have to matter to you in order for you to need to support them. Where yeah, a story like an Echo or an Ironheart could exist otherwise. Maybe she's not wearing a big robotic suit. Maybe she's not doing certain things like this, but it's not going to have as high of a platform, or it's not going to have as many eyes on it if it isn't part of the MCU.
The difference between, I would say, an Echo and an Ironheart and some of these other things is that those characters let me speak more to Ironheart. Ironheart's in comic books, a lot of times, you don't just get characters who can do cool shit that are Black. There's talk about Aaron Pierre being James Bond.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, James Bond really could be anyone.
Sure.
Because James Bond is a guy that's a fucking orphan from Scotland or wherever he's from.
Yeah.
That, whatever. Is that guy probably white? Yeah. But he doesn't have to be. However, the prince of an African country, he probably got to be Black.
Well, not if you're Black Panther.
Not if it's South. Well, the prince. the South Africans, that's gonna be the fucking oppressor. But the prince or the king of an African country, they write these characters because they came from a time where these characters were answering other questions. They wrote these characters as black. They wrote Luke Cage black. They wrote Riri Williams black. They wrote her black. She was black on purpose. And so I get sometimes that you have to infuse into these stories both some cultural messaging and the whole thing, and people might not like that.
Right.
Cool. I get that. People might be like, I don't want to learn about the black experience while I'm fucking doing my I understand that. However, they're lying because the acolyte, that ain't got nothing to do with her being black. She just is a character. She just happens
that could have been
to be
anybody.
black.
But also
and you didn't like that either.
But the
they're lying. They don't
wasn't...
like to see black people and women in those spots, whether or not there's cultural messaging in it or not. They're lying.
But my question, even with the acolyte, where it's just like, if we just take our feelings on the acolyte, I'm like, the acolyte wasn't good. Now, I think the acolyte was a lot better than a lot of Star Wars shit we're getting. And
it's better than you remember it, though.
Yeah. No. But here's the thing. Whether more so when we talk about the acolyte, I'm like, we can have two conversations. There is the Star Wars fandom that is burying it because they're misogynist, they're racist, whatever. And there's a reality that I was just like, oh, should the acolyte... Can I see why the acolyte didn't get a second season? I'm like, yeah, they're probably like, shit, the TV show didn't work.
It was very expensive.
It's very expensive. Like, it didn't... And like, when I brought up like something like a Sinners or Atlanta or even like Reservoir Dogs or whatever, I'm just like, there actually is shit out there that reaches a quality level where I'm like, yeah, do I trust the MCU to get black characters right or female-led characters right? No. Do I trust Star Wars?
Was canceled.
No. Huh?
Reservoir Dogs was canceled. So my thing...
No,
the Reservation
I thought they finished.
Reservation
Reservation. I thought they finished it.
No, they finished it.
That was finished. Yeah, that wasn't canceled.
I think it had 3, like, he just finished it. So I'm like, all I'm saying is I'm like...
Leave that in. By the way, shout out to Reservoir Dogs. I didn't... We Reservation Dogs. I meant both Reservoir Dogs and Reservation. Shout out to both of them.
Great show.
But all I'm saying is I'm just like, yo, as a fan right now, I don't know if I trust. And also, I'm not going to Disney for my politics as well. I don't actually think that a lot of these shows are actually moving any needles. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in this to make money. And at a certain point where it's like, yeah, you could put a black person in your Disney shit. Is that helping the cause? Not really.
And that's where I kind of feel I think capitalism kind of only puts you into a cause so much, if at all.
I like it. Like, here's the thing. I like Black Panther. If I'm looking back at it, I'm like, damn, did Black Panther do anything for our liberation? Nah, nigga.
Now, I agree. but let me tell you something. I'm gonna use that. And we spent a lot of time.
Put the Kofi on.
Like, we spent a lot of time on this, right?
It's a black podcast.
But let me give you the only counter example to this. I'm a little loud to it. I'm gonna try to be less hyper verbose than I've been. So Obama was elected president, and I was doing a mentorship program. And the funniest thing in these mentorship programs, or when you're mentoring kids, because sometimes, like, one of my friends, we would go coach basketball, and we would do basketball with the kids, and they'll go out there and coach basketball. Then you start your own little thing. You start talking to kids, and you ask them what they want to do. These are your little black kids, and they go, "Yo, I want to be an actor. I want to be." They're in LA, so they know some people. They might be from Compton. They can see Anthony Anderson. They can see some actor. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a ball player, and all of that's fine because as long as they want to be something, then you can push them along their journey to kind of figure out what their skills are and what their interests are, and maybe realign some of their expectations and like where they're gonna go. Because you can say, hey, you can be a basketball coach, and you can be 5'7", 5'8", and coach basketball and be around basketball for the rest of your life, making money, doing all kinds of things. There's a lot of things you can do. You can be a G. You just want to expand their mind, but you want them to realize that there's something that they can be. Obama is elected, and one of my kids goes, how do you become the president? And I was like, I had never gotten that question. Wasn't in the program for that long, but I had never gotten that question. And I'm like, well, if you want to be the president, Obama went to Harvard. he was the editor of the Harvard Law Review. He's a professor at the University of Chicago. Like Obama is in his books. So I can't have you not showing up to class, not going to school.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have you not getting to your work. Like you would have to be the most excellent. He is the most excellent. He exhibits undeniable excellence. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I want to be excellent like that. Like, that's why I want to be excellent like that. I want to be like him. And so for me, I'm looking at that and I'm like, yo, it's like they have to see it.
Right.
And if they don't see themselves as heroes, they just won't think that it's possible.
Yeah.
And so the shit doesn't matter on a corporate level, but it matters for a little black girl to see somebody hitting flips. Man, even the hair sometimes. Like, to me, I'm growing up and I'm seeing all of these characters and I'm seeing they got curls and they got curly hair. And then it's a nigga with a Caesar and a line. And I'm like, whoa. Like, just the face of heroism and achievement has to change. It's a psyop. It is a psyop. It's a psyop. This is a direct psyop. You have got to say, you can pick up a mountain. You can do this. You can do that. Like, these characters to me, Riri Williams matters. T'Challa matters. Like, it would be nice if we had a Black American one. Luke Cage matters. Like, these characters matter. Like, hey, you don't have to, you can dream into yourself.
Yeah.
And so it is just comic books. It is just comic books. It is. But then sometimes it's not. Sometimes if generation after generation, you get the same type of person running shit, both in the real world and every time you open up the pages of a comic book or read a book, you go, huh, that's how it's supposed to be. And there's something to it. It's like, we joke about Falcon, right? We do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, actually.
And they fuck over Falcon. And we can't ignore it.
Mm.
But the question is, why they do him like that? And I think that's what Charles is getting to. I think the question is, if we know that Captain America is black, let's give him a run of 10 straight wins in a fight. But they just can't do it. They gotta let this nigga get his ass kicked in his own movie.
Yeah.
There's something there that it seems like we can't
when
get
a black
to.
kid, when my nieces and nephews see Miles Morales, it's a different thing because it's like they don't got to imagine that there's a black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is black.
Spider-Man is black. To your point,
And
they're
he's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is black. Spider-Man is black. And we could sit here and we could talk a million times. And I'm so happy for the question. We could talk a million. We could talk around this and around this and around this. We could be, but it just does matter.
when we're at the Star Wars convention, there is a difference between say what you want to will about the sequel trilogies. I know you got a lot to say. There's a lot of fucking Rays now. Where like before it was like, I was Princess Leia, I was a princess, I'm the princess. And Princess Leia is cool, but to be like, no, I'm the I'm the Ahsoka. I'm the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we Finn, Mace Windu,
Kit Fisto, Jar Jar Binks.
Long way to go. Long way to go.
There's a lot of game left, fellas. Lando.
like
We
I was gonna say Lando.
Yeah, we
Finn, Lando.
I don't know if
or
you want
Mace
it. Here's the
Windu.
thing. I love Lando, but I've been watching them movies. He was
He was doing some. He was
We can
wilding.
move on because we running up against it. But I will say this: that's why I needed Solo to work even more so, because I wanted to see Donald Glover's Lando.
Hell
Tough.
no, he was fucking.
He was supposed to
the
get a
shit,
show,
bro.
right?
He
Yeah.
was having
He
sex
was
with
fucking the shit.
he
Would
was-
you guys fuck the Millennium Falcon?
It
I
really
mean, there's probably a way to make it happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
The question is if you had to fuck the Millennium Falcon.
Had
I
to?
definitely. Whoa, guys! If I came in next episode and be like, guys, guess what?
If you what?
I had sex with the Millennium Falcon. it would be like, you'd be like, what happened?
I'd be like, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I would have a ton of questions, but like I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, you're telling me if you were presented like she had the nice bad bitch voice in that.
All beings consenting.
It's more logistics.
Was it the ship or the robot?
It was the robot that was the essence of the ship.
The robot was a part of the
Wait,
ship.
wasn't it the consciousness that they uploaded to the Millennium Falcon?
Yes.
You know, the funny thing about that was like when that happened, that didn't quite connect with me, and I was watching the movie like, yo, am I supposed to be sad about the fact that this nigga's sex doll was killed? Like,
he's cradling her body outside the thing. Like,
I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be a moment. The character was cool though. That's a good movie.
Wait, if you had sex with any vehicle, which one would it be?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
That's a great question.
DeLorean?
Speed Racers Mach 5.
Well, that's you're big Wachowski, so
what about what about like a VW Bug? But then that would be Herbie.
Like Herbie?
Fully loaded?
I don't know. I'm not trying to fuck her. Not Herbie.
Talk about Herbie fully loaded.
Herbie fully loaded.
Yeah,
Herbie had like a female counterpart.
That's right.
He did in that movie. Yeah, he fell in love.
I didn't see the Herbie movies.
I would have such a crush on Lindsay Lohan.
Dude. She had a run.
That was
from
early 2000s. Lindsay Lohan. You kids don't understand.
Parent Trap, Get a Clue, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Mean Girls,
Freaky Friday.
Just life-size special.
One of the odd women that lost it when she got a little bit more controversial. Normally you get controversial. We like wholesome Lindsay Lohan, actually. Normally when you get a little bit more controversial, it makes you hotter. But Lindsay Lohan is one of the rare cases to where getting a little bit controversial didn't make her hotter. Like the Lindsay Lohan that people like, it's the wholesome version of her.
Well, she was tired of rumors started.
Okay. So we got I mean, how many more do you want to get?
Just one more.
One more.
Oh boy.
What do you think, man? We want to do?
Let's end on a fun one.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Let's do that.
Let's do Mount Rushmore.
Dan, Charles, Steve, Jomi, what's up, fellas? This is Pat. I love the pod. Kind of feel like we're boys, even though we've never met, which I know is a little weird, but I feel like it's also kind of a testament to you guys being good at your jobs. So whatever. Anyway, I know that you has a favorite everything, and I feel like you can tell a lot about a person based on their favorite stuff. So I'm asking you guys to give me your favorite movie, TV show, comic, and video game. Sort of a Mount Rushmore of nerd media, if you will. Doesn't have to be the best, just your personal all-time favorite.
I'm gonna stay in the genre, so I'm not gonna go all over the place. With
Wait, should we stay in the nerd genre?
I'm gonna stay in the genre, yeah.
All right, why don't we do, instead of everybody giving the floor, let's all do our movies, then we'll do TV.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So what's your movie?
The Matrix.
Matrix?
Yeah.
Does
the Matrix count?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of
course.
Nerd content. Yeah,
absolutely.
The Matrix.
If we're just doing like personal favorites, then I got to go the original Avengers 2012.
Yeah. Can I say Spirited Away?
Yeah.
I'll say Spirited Away.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't realize we could do Miyazaki. Fuck. But in terms of just like nerd, if I had to go nerd movie, honestly, I remember where I was.
Yeah.
Like The Dark Knight was actually where I was just like, we could actually reach a level of
It's so crazy that I can like remember like my emotional state when I first saw that movie.
I remember the exact seat in the theater being like, what the fuck is like, because I love The Matrix, but I never got to see Matrix in the theater, so I don't have that.
I only saw Reloaded in the theater.
I remember where I was. I remember I saw Avengers at 9:30 at the Delamo 16 near the crib, and I can just remember my life when they're all in the circle. Like, man, this is everything. It's not just something. This is everything.
Yeah. So nerd TV show, fandom TV show.
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Oh,
Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, WandaVision. When I think about all of it together, it would either be WandaVision or Daredevil.
Wow.
The original Daredevil. I love WandaVision way more than I should.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful show. Beautiful show.
Jomi?
I'm gonna zag here. No, I'm just Agents of Shield, obviously.
All right, man.
Very much. See, what is this? It's just crazy.
We talk about the Mount Rushmore.
My personal Mount Rushmore.
The brand is so strong.
It is strong.
The brand is so strong.
Steve?
Batman the Animated Series. That's my favorite.
This is Prisoner of the Moment shit, but if we're talking,
oh man,
it has to be Andor. To me, like,
God damn.
in terms of like nerd,
I changed my
like,
shit.
here's the thing, like, Andor gotta be the
I
one
don't
where
know
I'm
why
like,
I didn't even think about it.
because here's the thing, I'm like, oh, Star Wars can make me feel like this again.
Andor
Like,
probably the greatest television show ever made.
It's pretty amazing.
all
I'm
right,
just
comic
joking.
book.
It's gotta be. I gotta stick.
It's personal.
I gotta stick.
But
to
it's your personal.
WandaVision.
Yeah, it's your personal
yeah.
choice.
Andor is better than WandaVision. I just want everybody
Andor is
to know
better
that.
than Agents of Shield, but like that's
Yeah.
the thing. When I was a kid,
Is it you though?
Yeah,
it's you.
I didn't think about.
All right,
Andor.
so
Andor
comic book.
Shit, bro. That's tough, bro.
Make it
have
actually
mine. I have
personal.
mine.
Don't pick like Watchmen or
Personal.
like don't
Yeah.
do like the
Yeah. If it's run or just book or graphic, it's probably The Dark Knight Strikes Back.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Dark Knight, not the Dark Knight Returns,
I don't know
the
why.
sequel. Really? This is shit we never talk about. I like both. Why the sequel though?
Because so The Dark Knight Returns is better
Yes.
than The Dark Knight Strikes Back. It's better.
Why Strikes Back then?
It's crazy,
For
bro.
some reason, connected with Strikes Back is definitely inferior to the first one, but I just connected to it. It's all over the place. It's chaotic. There's like a lot of shit happening. I just would like.
Doesn't Carrie become like Catwoman?
Yeah, I would just like get into the book a little bit more. I don't know why.
Was there a Crazy Robin in that as well?
Well, there was a Crazy Robin in like both of them. Well, not Crazy Robin, but the Lady Robin that they have in it.
Damn, that is crazy. All right, Joe.
Yeah.
I think I gotta go with the OG, the Spider-Verse run from 2014.
Dan Slott.
Yeah. I think that was one of the I watched, you watch the YouTube recaps, Comics Explain, all them, and I was like,
Shout out to Rob.
I gotta go get me some of these books, man. I was locked in. I think like that's on my personal Mount Rushmore.
This is going to be very pretentious and hoity-toity of me, but it was I read this run and book in high school, and it kind of like rewired my brain. There's a comic by Chris Ware called Jimmy Corrigan, the Smartest Kid on Earth. It's like originated from Chicago, and he's one of the greatest artists I've ever seen in my life. And it's the most emotionally devastating and saddest story I've ever like across media. It breaks my heart, and it's so beautiful and like mathematically perfectly drawn that it's one of the best things I've ever read.
Is Jimmy White?
What?
Jimmy White?
Yes.
Does he invent slavery?
No. But it's basically like a exercise of like through this man's consciousness through time and
Interesting.
heartbreak, and like it's so incredible, and so it's like very like surrealist, and
I'm gonna check that out.
it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
As the Midnight Boys Tyler Hero, do you believe in history?
Do I believe in history?
Yeah.
Yes. It does not believe in many people, but it does. I do believe
in
in it.
slavery.
Do you believe in history before 1950?
Yes. I was gonna say that my favorite Superman was the Max Fleischer version.
What a fucking moron.
That was so funny because he's doing this on a stream, right? And all one of the two guys had to do was like, so cool. How do you feel about slavery? How do you feel about World War II?
Who was this? Wait, what was this again? What was this?
Tyler Hero got on a stream.
You
And
believe in Charlie Chaplin?
Oh right,
And
yeah.
he was
yeah,
also
yeah.
like, how can you believe that like history is real? I'm like, we've had cameras and
Yes.
books and fossil records. Like I'm just like,
Yeah. What do you
mean?
What happened? The Civil War?
Yeah.
happened?
What are your thoughts about this? Yeah. What are your thoughts about the American Revolution, Tyler Hero?
The Constitution.
Did we just make that up?
Like
70 years ago? What's
honestly,
the
the Constitution is fake though.
Could be.
It
Wow.
absolutely is.
What about you?
Comic book. It's time for Weeb Corner. One Piece changed my life as a kid. One Piece is like I'm in a reread right now. One Piece is the greatest comic book of all time. Bigger than Batman. I love it. Fucking One Piece.
What are them? They the
Jesus
Dallas
Christ.
Cowboys, right?
All right. What's the?
All right, video games. All right, we don't even.
Yeah, it's not funny when it's you, is it?
They never get there.
It's not funny when it's you. Huh.
What?
Video game. So, but I bet you could choose any video game, right?
You're not gonna choose Spider-Man?
I could.
I mean, you probably put the most hours into that.
It's probably my favorite video game, but the most important. If I was gonna put a Mount Rushmore, it would be Super Mario Brothers 3.
3?
So I've said that that's canonically a play, right? That didn't happen.
That's 2.
That's 2. Was it Mario?
Wait,
3?
2's
That's-
the
Oh, okay.
play?
The Mario credential.
Is that? Or I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, because
I
it
think it
opens
might
with the
be
curtain
free.
Oh, but
on the
wait.
stage.
But doesn't 2 open with a curtain on stage as
Hold
well?
on.
I'm fucking tripping.
Which
I don't
Mario
know.
Brothers is
There's definitely it's either one. No, it's three. It's three because
Okay, yeah.
it opens with the curtain
Mhm.
and like the entire like bottom part of the screen is a stage.
Yeah.
And
Then you go into the thing, you got the whistles. It blew my fucking mind, bro.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. Bear suit, frog suit, Tanuki suit, like fucking the wings. It
when you could fly,
it blew my fucking mind. I couldn't believe that was possible. And then the game itself was such a big game. It was a massive.
You saw the
undertaking.
Tanuki shoot shit, and you was just like,
changed
"What
his
is
life.
that?"
I swear to God, bro, it blew my fucking mind.
It is so funny though. I do think kids are so spoiled now because I don't like. I try to tell them like, bruh, I remember playing the Sega Genesis. We got Shaq Fu. That nigga was doing
you did not play Shaq Fu and like it. You did not play Shaq Fu and like it. That's a lie. You did not play Shaq Fu and like it. You just like that Shaq had a video game.
I love Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu was good. Like it.
Sonic 2 was my game too.
Sonic 2 is amazing.
Dog Spyro, Crash Bandicoot. I remember it all. SS Tricky.
I used to play a Star Wars game that they had for the Super Nintendo that was so fucking difficult. Some of these games were
Rogue Squadron?
difficult. Maybe it was, I can't remember the name of it, but I used to play. It was so difficult.
Okay.
Like a super difficult game. It was called Super Star Wars.
Oh, Super Star Wars. Oh, that's for the SNES. Yeah, you played as Luke.
Yeah, super hard.
Yeah,
game.
it's very hard.
Anyway,
Notoriously hard.
I think for me, I'm trying to see what like I have the most hours in on my PS5. But I think if I'm just going off like the game that like for real to change my life in a way, I think I probably say Halo. I think
Halo's a good
I think
answer.
getting into Halo was something that like completely like re-engineered how I thought about not only video games but just media in general and being able to like create. And so I think like because I got into Halo, then I got a Red versus Blue, and then like that's just like a snowball effect that like led me to like
What's
thinking
Red
that,
versus Blue?
Oh
brother,
man,
we do not have enough time to get into
Red
that.
versus Blue is culture. I'll say that.
It's a machinima web show started by it was created by Bernie Burns,
Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth, rest in peace. And that was the show that I got into Rooster Teeth, and they essentially were content house is not the right word, but literally a production studio. They made a whole bunch of other stuff that essentially I found them in college, and I discovered that you don't have to be like a Hollywood director or a Hollywood writer to make content that people like.
It's so crazy because like the early internet creativity of like just people like recording video games and like making a show inside of that game and then just putting that on the internet, and like early YouTube shit was probably some of the greatest internet and content I'd ever consumed.
It's tough today because we're so endued with all this stuff. Everybody wants to be.
What the fuck y'all talking?
It's
about?
okay.
This is the Mint. The Mint boys are some real nerd. Like I know we all nerds here, but everything y'all talking about, I'm like, what the fuck is
it's
going
like,
on?
do you remember the first viral video that you ever saw where it was like the OK Go music video where they were on the treadmills? You remember that?
No, I remember that nigga that was unforgivable.
Oh my God.
Wait, are we talking about the Chocolate Rain?
No,
Unforgivable was that guy in the woods where he's just like, I went on a date with this girl.
Oh yeah.
I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember that nigga. My early internet members was the unforgivable nigga. I remember him. I remember the nigga who tried to the dude who tried to do the backflip and he bust his shit.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah, with the
I remember.
nunchucks.
You know who this is? Early internet too. I want to get his name right. He's the funniest nigga ever. The fake Mario. You a player 2F nigga.
But to me, my internet was like I'm the juggernaut bitch.
Yeah.
Like all of that shit. That shit was the funniest shit in the world.
That's what the internet should have been.
Right.
Like there's this weird place that we're in now where it's just like, okay, we have content creators, we have like TikTok stars, we have people like doing TV shows like the Drewskis of the world, like, and that's awesome, and that's interesting that the internet grows into that. But like sometimes it just begins as like people fucking around in their basements and like making jokes.
That era
and that's
of
the
YouTube,
funniest
though,
things ever.
Do you understand? Like kids don't realize. I'm like the internet was so new to us. I vividly remember some parties we would go to. Niggas would just pop open YouTube and
just
we
watch
just
stuff.
watch
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 stuff. The whole genesis of the entire thing was that they were just friends who used to play Halo. They made a show in Halo. Now they start a production company and
that's Red versus Blue.
Red versus Blue with Ruby and Achievement Hunter, the whole thing. I consumed all of it, even the Strangerhood. I was so locked in, and it taught me that I can do this without being somebody who learned about it. But yeah, the internet's different now, man. People will try to go viral on purpose, and it's not the same.
And so you just hope that McDonald's corporate comments on your thing.
Right. It's not the same.
Steve?
Shadow of the Colossus. That was
shit.
That was a formative time.
That shit
for me.
crazy, bro.
I
had to play that shit for fucking for Cybernet.
Oh yeah?
the show that I was working on at the time. And I ended up like playing that shit was crazy.
That's an emotional journey.
Beautiful fucking game. Bro.
Yeah.
How come we don't talk about Shadow of the Colossus? Did they make a bunch of them or no?
No, just one. So the creator of that, they've done like some spiritual successors to that game. It began with a game called Ico, where you play as a boy, like rescuing this princess in like a castle. And then there was Shadow of the Colossus. And then he made a long gestating project that came out. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. But like you play as this little boy who has this this gigantic like fox pet that like runs around. And you got to escape this castle, and they all have like the same kind of architecture that you see, but like there's no reference to the rest of that world or that series or anything like that. It's incredible.
Why don't we play more video games?
Shadow of the Colossus was fucking amazing.
I've never played Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh my God. One of the greatest
breathtaking
twist endings of a game ever.
Spoilers.
All right. In my heart, it's Slay the Spire, but I gotta go.
Hey, hell yeah.
Slay the Spire is my favorite game of all time. But the real thing is this actually broke my brain, dog, when I got the first Pokemon Red, bro.
Oh, right.
My family had one Game Boy, so I wasn't even playing the whole game. It was like my brother would get 30 minutes, I get 30 minutes. I had Charmander, dog.
Did you ever have a save file fucked with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, not only that, I don't know if people remember, you used to have to get if you wanted to get the real shit, like you wanted to get Mew, there was like the missing number shit.
Yeah.
All that shit.
Yeah.
Dog.
What is Pokemon?
You've never played Pokemon?
I play Pokemon Go, which I used to be walking around the parking lot at TMZ.
So wait, you've never played Pokemon Red or Blue?
No, no, I don't.
So like the whole cultural surge in the late 90s of Pokemon completely lost on you.
Nah.
You were how old at that time? Like in 99, 98?
19.
Can you name 10 Pokemon? Go.
Nah.
No.
You can name 10 Pokemon.
You can name 10
You can
Pokemon.
name 10 Pokemon.
No, I can't. 10 Pokemon?
You can name 10 Pokemon.
Pikachu. I'll give you one Pikachu.
Pikachu?
There you
That's
go.
the only one I know.
Charmander?
Okay, I know Charmander.
Bulbasaur.
Nope.
Squirtle?
Nope.
Mewtwo?
Nope.
Damn.
Blastoise?
Nope.
Damn, I have remember the Pokemon rap.
Nope.
Dog, wait.
Eevee?
Charmeleon.
So
if he saw them, I think he would say that I've seen
some of
things.
these you had to go catch on Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
All of these you had to catch up on.
So I played Pokemon Go, and it got to the point to where I was going down to Santa Monica to try to get water Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
And man, Pokemon Go was a crazy time.
It was
great.
That was the
Crazy
closest
time.
you've ever been to world peace
But we
ever.
were
Yes.
but it was mad people because TMZ was in. Remember, I'm a 35, 36-year-old man. At this point.
You're just dropping down.
It was mad people. TMZ is in Playa Vista.
Yeah.
So it was mad people. I will go on my walk, and mad people just walking around, and then sometimes you walk by somebody, and they would be like, "There's one up there."
Yeah.
And then you go try to
some
get it.
parks would be absolutely
Dog,
flooded with people just with their phones out.
You've seen
Why
this
people be
before.
walking into the hood?
I know. Yeah. Who's that?
That's you know who Charizard is.
You don't know Charizard. Come on,
You
man.
don't know who
I've
Charizard
seen-
is.
I've
You've seen it in
You've
Pokemon
seen
Go.
it.
But no, but
Show me
that's
some more Pokemon. I've seen them, but
Okay.
I don't know the names of the Pokemon.
Go most famous
Jesus.
Pokemon. He doesn't know who
I know
Lucario
Pikachu is the most famous Pokemon.
Yeah. Do you know Eevee?
Who is Eevee?
It's like
Show
the
me
little
Eevee. I'm not fucking around.
that
I
little,
swear to God,
cat
I don't
dog.
know what how.
You didn't know any of the Pokemon you was catching.
No, I actually the game, the Pokemon. See, I don't know him.
I don't know him.
Wait, show him the racist Pokemon.
These Pokemon.
Have you ever heard of Jinx?
Oh
No,
man,
it's Jinx.
no. Google original Jinx.
Original Jinx. They got
design.
a racist Pokemon.
They got a
You
couple.
know how Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z was racist as fuck?
Racist as fuck.
They
Yeah,
got a racist Pokemon.
I didn't know that this was.
Yeah.
Let me show. Let's see.
Original Jinx is crazy.
Hold on. Let me try and get to
Let's
this.
see.
It's-
Oh hell no! Oh fuck no, bro.
This was on a
Bro,
children's.
what the
This was on a
fuck?
children's show.
Yeah, man.
Children's show.
Oh hell no,
Oh
bro.
my god.
That's not right, bro.
Yeah, that's nuts. 1990,
This
like
is
eight.
all
it was
over
different.
again. You never saw this. You can still catch this Pokemon.
That design has since changed, by the way.
Oh,
me
yeah,
the new
bro.
one. Show me the new one. Show me
It's
the
a
new
little
one.
less.
She's
It's a little
purple
less.
now.
Yeah, she's purple.
Let me see.
She's purple.
Okay.
It's still kinda nuts,
they
but
fixed
It's
it.
still kind of nuts, but
It's still.
purple.
But
Yeah.
Shit. No, I don't know. Charles, what's yours? We got.
No, I said Pokemon Red. That's
Pokemon.
fine.
Pokemon Red. Okay, so we done that. We got our.
We did it.
We left a lot of questions on the table. Thanks for everybody.
No, thanks
Yes.
for all your
submitting.
questions.
Thank
like,
you. That
actually,
was
these are
amazing.
great questions. We love y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
had
so
a
much.
we had a whole bunch of fun, answering your guys' questions. So thank you so much for submitting. It means a lot.
All right, we gotta get out of here. I'll tell y'all something right now. This content summer is about to be a big deal, bro.
It's a lot.
They working us, bro.
It's about to be a big
We
deal.
finna be here, man.
We
We
about
finna
to
be
get
here.
into it. All right, that's a wrap. This week on the Ringerverse feed, tomorrow the House of Art will be giving you their top 10 speeches of the century so far. I'm not gonna miss that podcast. I really want to hear what they come up
Optimus Prime.
with. And next week we will have our own Ironheart premiere thoughts. Please let Ironheart be good. This is 1-1. Just give us one, nigga. Can we get one?
Wait, honestly, we should think of something before Ironheart to celebrate the women. Because after we had that long talk about that, you know what? Fuck Disney. Fuck these corporations. We supporting our girl. We supporting our black queen, bruh.
Sarah had a question we didn't get to. It was like our favorite women-led or women-directed projects, whether in the Nerdverse or outside the Nerdverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we should think about that.
Ooh, maybe we do a Mount Rushmore, like
maybe
a
we
Superwoman.
do a pod of that. Maybe we maybe around Ironheart we orient the backs. I don't want to say we orient the backside of it because we're talking about women.
Okay, don't
This is
orient
why-
anything. How about you?
but
This is
wait,
why it's so
can't be
hard. It's so
serious.
hard. Why?
We had a
we were
great
so
conversation.
close.
We nearly.
the backside and it's so hard. See what I'm
It's
saying?
on me. That's on me.
We can't
guys.
really do it. But I'm
I
saying
take
is,
responsibility.
maybe we talk about our favorite female-led
Maybe like a Mount Rushmore, maybe.
Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
females. Female women.
Right, females.
Women-led.
Yeah, we
It's
can't say
women-led.
females.
We
Nobody
can't
likes
say-
females.
we can't say
Females is bad.
female,
Females
like,
is
No
not.
female. Women
To
are
all our
lady.
midnight sisters out there, we try. You can see us
Midnight
fumbling.
sisters.
No,
We're
you have to try. We're
trying.
we're
though.
crawling our way past Shoddy
Don't make me
Gate.
get, don't make me get Aleya involved. Our producers in the Salt Factory is Steve Ahlman, Aleya, Zenieris, Jomi Adeniran on social. Hashtag backside Jomi. Daddy.
Backside.
Additional production from Arjuna Ramgopowell. Chuck takes out.
The mailbag was a blast. The boys had a ball. And to all the Midnight Riders and Mob, please help Van catch them all.